Welcome. I'd like to start by acknowledging we're on the lands, the traditional lands of the Bunurong people, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Welcome board directors, volunteers, and especially the many Holocaust survivors joining us today. We're so thrilled to have you here. Slowly, we're settling in, and next year we'll begin the process of getting to our new normal, whatever that looks like. I'm going to start by looking back at the last year and then introduce our team, because we've got many new faces amongst us, and then talk a little bit about some of the work we've been doing behind the scenes to ensure that next year we set ourselves up for success. Following this, you'll learn a bit about our plans for volunteering next year. And finally, one or both of our co-presidents, I believe, will wrap the event up. And then, of course, you're free to schmooze some more, because I know that's actually what you're here for, not to listen to me or anything else. Okay, so the year. The year started with Shia Chaskell receiving a very well-deserved OAM. Mazel tov. What a way to start the year. And another successful International Holocaust Remembrance Day event. And watch out for the booking details, as we're excited to be able to do it in person next year on the 30th of January. The reason it's the 30th, the 27th is a Friday, so we can't do it on the Friday night. Our education programs. So despite all the challenges, I want to congratulate the entire education team, and especially Tracy Colley, who's not with us here today, for managing the school programs. Not only coping with the COVID challenges, but the move into the new site as well. And thanks to all the survivors who spoke to the students and the volunteers who were able to assist. Also to acknowledge Lisa Phillips for running a really amazing... Yeah, wait to hear what she's been doing. Lisa's been running a really amazing teacher professional learning program, so that we're equipping more and more teachers every year, and this is going to be, a really important part of what we're delivering, one of the programs we're delivering, to make sure the teachers are better equipped to teach the Holocaust in schools. When we finally got the building, the first thing we did was invite survivors to come on the site, and we had a special gathering with the survivors. So, and also you might notice the then Treasurer Josh Frydenberg in the middle of the photo. So we had a few politicians and as many survivors as we could come on site. It was a wonderful opportunity. We were a bit light on for events this year for obvious reasons, but two that stood out were Avram Goldberg's Strength of Hope book launch and the open house event that we held here with the architect Kirsten Thompson. Most notably, we changed our name, and with that came a new look. And many of you will be receiving, or most of you I hope, in the coming days, our new biannual magazine, which is called Voices. And thanks to everyone involved in putting that together, including Lena Leibovich, our new editor. Thank you. So look out in your mailbox and call me if it doesn't arrive. I'll be on the end of the phone. Philip's 100th birthday was a really beautiful occasion. I want to thank everyone involved in putting that together, and I hope most of you had the opportunity to watch that. It's just... Strangely, I was listening to my voicemail the other day, and there's one, you know how you delete your voicemails after, there's one I've still got there. The next day, Philip called me to say it was so incredible, it was beautiful and it was perfect. Sadly, he passed away the following week. Yes, I found myself in Europe in the midst of this crazy year where I had the honour of presenting at a conference honouring the Austrian Services Abroad program, which included a special presentation in Parliament. And I also got the opportunity to meet our new Austrian intern, Tim Kumpf, who joined us a month ago. It's incredibly hard to believe, but we managed to pack everything up for a second time and move back into our new home. Especially I take my hat off to Anna Hirsch and Julia Reichstein and the whole collections team for their efforts. All our precious material moved out and moved safely back in, thanks to the great care they take. Thank you. And we got straight back into education on the new site. We didn't skip a beat. A few days after moving, we were welcoming students back here. And then a week later, we had the incredible honour of celebrating Joe DeHaan's 100th birthday, a truly remarkable and inspiring event, and how appropriate that the first event that we held here was for a survivor's 100th birthday. To have two in 1 year, unbelievable. And that was a warm-up because 3 weeks later we held the annual Rosencrantz Oration, and how wonderful it was to welcome Sarah Bloomfield, head of the USHMM. She was insightful and inspiring, and it was also great for my team to spend many days with her as well. And I just want to acknowledge the team that puts all these events on, and our engagement and philanthropy team for all the work they do to make all of this possible. But I'll be introducing you to the teams in a little while, or a little moment. But at this point, it's also a very sad point of our annual event is to acknowledge our special friends who passed away this year, David Prince and Philip Maisel. So I think Robbie Simons has prepared a little presentation.
In 1996, I was in Washington and I visited the Jewish Holocaust Museum. And on the way back, I said, God Almighty, times have changed. Why don't I do anything? I made an appointment with the Director of Education at the time. And she asked me simply, what can you do for us? I said, I don't know what I can do for you. All I know that I am a Holocaust survivor. I have been there. I know what happened. And I still speak a reasonable English. And that's how I became a guide. And that's my role for as long as I can.
To me, a camera was a way to show other people how I see the world. Everyone has a different pair of eyes. So this was a way for me to portray my individual perspective. I was sitting on a bank in the camp with 4 other friends, and promised ourselves, if one of us will survive the Holocaust, even for 5 minutes, his duty will be to tell the whole world what happened, how cruel were the Germans, or the Nazis. And this was an opportunity to do it. I was retired, and it became an obsession. I'll be completely frank.
We're really blessed here that we have such an amazing team supporting all the incredible work we do. We've got many new faces, some who've joined us during COVID in the last year. So I want to invite our team leaders to join me, and then just for each of them to be able to introduce to you who the people are, working here, because some of you have an interaction with one or two, and maybe on the phone you don't even know who they are. So I thought this was a really wonderful opportunity today to introduce all our teams. So the first is my team. I'm wonderfully supported by Nav, who's up the back. Many of you may have met Nav. She took a year off for maternity leave, and I'm so grateful to have her back. Jennifer Levitt-Maxwell's been with us for quite a few years, but has changed her title and her role a little bit. So I thought I'd get Jennifer to explain to you just what she does.
Hi, everybody. So I think my title is one of those that's like, what does that mean and what does she do? So I'm going to tell you the top 3 things to know about what I do. The first one is I work with all the departments to be thinking about how are we leading with our audiences? How are we thinking about their needs, and whether that's volunteers, students, teachers, or visitors. So that's point number 1. Point number 2 is transformation. So I'm thinking about and working again with all the departments about things like how are we, when we transition to virtual learning, Lisa and I work together on that, so all of the programs that you've seen online. Also thinking about, I'm curating our hiding exhibition. How are we transforming and thinking about creating experiences for younger audiences? Also with our brand strategy, our websites, all those kind of big projects that deal with transformation, and our experience. How are we weaving together new experiences now that we're in this new building for all our different audiences? And the third thing is relevancy. So how are we creating experiences that are relevant for all of our audiences with the Holocaust? And so I think Jane might talk about this a little bit later, but we're doing work with the University of Melbourne and research. We've developed a learning framework, some really exciting things that we're developing in terms of relevancy. And next year I'll be doing a session on that, so I hope be on the lookout for that to come along and learn more about the way we're doing that. So top 3 things to know about me: audience, transformation, and relevancy. Thank you.
I think Jennifer's is the hardest for people to understand, so I'm glad you put it into such a simple language. Simon has taken ill, so I will introduce Simon's team. I mean, many of you know some of his team. So Lisa Phillips, well known to everyone, who's pedagogy specialist and has this year been focusing very much on teacher professional learning, as well as the Hiding Museum. Tracy Colley manages the education programs, and that is a very massive job, and I'm sure many of you who are involved in education have interacted with Tracy. Sarah Virgo Bennett has joined us this year. Really, education administrator. It's a big role. It involves, liaising with all the schools on their education bookings. Carly Patullo is our brand new education officer. She's literally just started in the last month or so she's finding her feet in this organisation. Sue Isaacs, well known to everyone here, I'm sure. So Sue's a wonderful contributor to our organisation over many years. Mel Attar, another of our amazing education officers who I'm sure many of the survivors have liaised with over the past few years. And Fanny Hoffman, final education officer that, as I said, I'm sure many of you know Fanny. She's been around for quite a few years here. So it's a big team, it's a growing team, and next year, I guess as we reopen and hopefully with more and more schools coming through, that team will continue to grow. I'm now going to ask Aviva to introduce her team.
Good morning, everyone. So engagement and philanthropy, which is a mouthful, we look after all the marketing and fundraising for the museum. So when you see emails coming from the museum, that's from our team. So Meg, who is our marketing communication specialist, she's in charge of all the social media, emails, promotional material. We've got Alice, who's in charge of events and programs, so very much the work that you see that has made this happen, Alice is in charge of that. So any event that you come to, that's really because of Alice and her amazing efforts. Laurel is Grants and Partnerships Manager, so working getting funding from foundations, from the government, making sure that we can actually run this place, which is amazing. And Robbie, the digital media specialist, who you'll often see behind a camera and recording our events and putting together the beautiful in memoriam for the survivors that you just saw. Those sort of recordings, that's Robbie's hard work. And yeah, and I oversee it all. So thank you.
Yes, and thank you, Aviva, for all your energy that you bring to this place. And next, cab off the rack, is Anna Hirsch. Dr. Anna Hirsch, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Anna, and who takes such great care of our collections.
Well, thanks, everyone. It's really wonderful to see so many familiar faces here, and we're so pleased to be in this beautiful, beautiful building, which I think is such a pivotal moment for us as we examine what it means to, present the Holocaust to the public, what it means to our community, and I'm really proud to be working here, and it's been 8 very interesting years. As Jane mentioned earlier, we safely relocated our incredible historical collection, firstly from the old building to East Malvern, and we were very fortunate to have it in the same building with us so that we could keep researching and also keep collecting. And we actually had some very interesting items coming in even during the lockdown and our sort of satellite period. Now we're moving into redeploying our fantastic volunteers and getting our staff increased and getting our program of collecting and preservation back in full swing. So we've been setting up our offices and including our recording studio, and we're also moving towards having a new database implemented, which means that new technology will centralise the survivors' experiences, and we're looking at doing many more call-outs for original historical artefacts. So while the survivors are the heart of this place, we also have to look at their historical artefacts as the soul, or which will resonate, and these are material witnesses, and we need to keep collecting and documenting. So it's up to the survivors and their families to ensure that the correct documentation comes with these artefacts. So I'm always available if you need to discuss that. We're also supporting our incredible new museum exhibitions. The core exhibition, I've been working very closely with my dear colleague Sandy Saxon, who you'll meet shortly, and Jennifer and Lisa for the Children's Museum, and also working on conservation of very significant historical artefacts and making sure that everything is in a condition where it is preserved for the future. I'm very fortunate to be working with my wonderful colleagues who each have incredible talents and professionalism and so much dedication, and we're working for you. This is so important to us, and we're just really looking forward to working to expand the collection area and also ensure that our collection is not just a static repository. It actively connects with the education's handling collection and with the engagement posts on social media, for example, just to make sure that these pieces of evidence are presented to the public. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And none of this would be possible without an org support team to really drive this engine, I guess. And it's my great pleasure to introduce the very newest member of our team. He actually started last week, which is Gary Pianco, who's Head of Operations. So I'm just throwing him straight in. Come and introduce your team, which you've met 5 minutes ago.
Thanks so much, Jane. It is a real pleasure to be here. It's actually a privilege to be here. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to the board for sort of showing some faith in me. We've got lots to do, and this is clearly an incredible facility. It's an amazing place to be working at, but that comes coming with that is a lot of work, and that is running this amazing facility and running all of the sort of operational support that underpins all the incredible work that Jane and the leadership team and everyone in the organisation and all the volunteers and the board and everyone that's associated with this organisation is really pushing to do, and to do in the most incredible way. So my team is really all about, as Jane said, underpinning that with as much structure, support, and kind of a rhythm that just runs smoothly. So that's really the aim, is to just make this place run as smoothly as we can, and to help the rest of the team to make sure that that's what we're doing. I am very new, and I've met all the team. I've met most of the people who work in the organisation now, and very excited about what's coming and the relaunch of the museum next year, etc. I'll do a quick intro on the team, just going from left to right. First is Ray, who I think many of you know, Ray Silverstein. Ray's transitioned more towards looking after our amazing survivors, and just really, right? Oh, absolutely. Ray's been with the team for a long time, and she's focusing on doing all that help and just really showing all the care and support that we all feel. But Ray's sort of the pointy end of that and doing an amazing job. So thank you very much, Ray. Daniel's also been with the team for quite some time, and he's done a number of amazing roles in the organisation. And Daniel's currently focusing around our customer databases and making sure that we can have all that the information we have is right, that the mail outs that we do is correct, that the way we engage is correct, and just all of that stuff that really is vital to the running of the organisation and the way that we communicate with our stakeholders and our wider community. So thank you, Daniel. Georgina Alexander, I think probably most of you know Georgina as well. Georgina is amazing at doing so many things, looking after our phone, our email accounts, helping out on the finance end, paying bills. It's just a lot of stuff that Georgina does, and she does an amazing job at it, so thank you. Anna Burhang is our People and Culture Manager. Anna performs a really vital function around how we bring staff on board here, how we train staff about our contracts, about everything that goes around managing people in 2022, which is a lot more complicated than it used to be when I started working about 35 years ago. So thank you, Anna. Roy John, who most of you probably also know, is our finance manager, and he just does a really good job at running this place very, very smoothly from a finance perspective, and that is absolutely crucial. So thank you, Roy. Lana Zuka is, I think, also a relatively new member of the team, and Lana, I think, has done some volunteering previously, and now is going to help us more around some of our support services and other administrative tasks, and maybe a little bit around visitor engagement as well as we move forward. So thank you, Lana. And finally, Tim, who I think I think Jane, you mentioned Tim previously. I don't know where he is. He's our current, I think they call it Austrian abroad, is that right? And doing his internship here for 12 months. So thank you, Tim, and working across a whole range of projects, which covers sort of all of the teams here at Melbourne Holocaust Museum. So thank you to the team. Just a little bit about me. I've sort of had 35 years of corporate experience. I've done a lot of roles around marketing and operations in telco and banking and a few other things, boring things like that. But it's very exciting to be working more in the sort of not-for-profit space and doing something that's clearly so incredibly meaningful. So nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. He left out the mystery man. So the mystery man is a mystery man. Yeah, that's okay. John Moss has been helping us in the background the whole year to make sure that all the 10,000 things that we're doing kind of come together well. So he's you'll never recognise him in the street after seeing that. So that's probably why he didn't send us a photo. Now, being that I was a curator, I've of course left the best till last, which is to introduce Sandy Saxon, who's managing the museum team and the museums that we're very excited to present to you next year. Come on up, Sandy.
Hello, everybody. My primary focus, since I've started here, is developing or co-developing the content for our new museum, our new core exhibition. And I'm going to do a little bit of a spoiler alert. We're titling our new core exhibition, Everybody Had a Name, but more will be revealed about that. So once this new exhibition is up and running, which we hope to be not too far in the future, in the new year, my focus will then be organising temporary exhibitions in our beautiful new temporary exhibition space. But back to the main game, the main focus here is our core exhibition, and I've been supported by an amazing team. Firstly, Arik Dibble, who is the Creative Director of Multimedia for all the audiovisual and interactive components in the exhibition, as well as other multimedia components around the building. Fiona Kelman, who is the curatorial assistant for this project and undertaking huge amounts of research and writing toward both the main displays and the multimedia with Arik. And Fiona has now become an expert in deciphering all manner of maps explaining the Holocaust. We also have the wonderful Julia Catania, our graduate intern, who's been assisting with researching and organising licensing for all the visual content for the exhibition, and also, very importantly, proofreading all our content. And Anna Grubel, who I'm not quite sure is here today, she's our curatorial intern. She started off as an intern and then has also worked on other projects, like on a consultancy basis. And she has been assisting both Arik and myself in researching and creating visual content for the exhibition and coordinating other displays, which will be installed in this very lecture theatre very soon. So stay tuned. So it's been an amazing few years, and I've been assisted by an incredibly talented staff, and I can't wait to be able to take you through the new exhibition once it's up. Thank you.
Thanks to my amazing team. Thank you. Okay. So I thought, and I'll try and do this quickly because I'm sure you just want to eat and schmooze at this point. I thought we'd just have a little bit of look ahead at next year. Firstly, some of the key moments: International Holocaust Remembrance Day. We're running a Holocaust education course. I can see there's some flyers on the tables. We'll be launching a new look website in April, Yom HaShoah, with the associated campaign as well as events. In April, we're hoping that our memorial room will be complete and we'll be able to show you that incredible space, which has been designed by Stephen Jolson, architect. And somewhere between April and June, we'll be able to invite you to the 2 new exhibition spaces. So, back in 2020, we created a strategic plan to become a world-class museum to ensure we reach every Victorian student, become a leader in Holocaust education and research, and maintain our commitment to be custodians of the memories and artefacts of the Melbourne survivor community. To achieve our goals, we've conducted audience research as well as consulted with experts and stakeholders to best understand who we are, what motivates our audience, and how can we achieve our lofty mission. So our purpose, we exist to amplify the voices of Holocaust survivors as a catalyst for greater understanding and acceptance of difference to inspire a better future. And our promise to every visitor who enters our doors, we bring humanity to life powerfully to inspire a better future. And then we spent many hours and had many discussions to distill our essence. And we came up with these 3 words and the synonyms that underpin them. So catalyst, humanity, and responsibility. And under each of those words, you can see some of the sort of thoughts that underpin those words. And those are 3 really powerful words that sit underneath everything we do. So one way of looking at it, we spark change within individuals through our transformative learning experiences on the Holocaust that focus on character strengths and our power as individuals to change the world. We're not leaders in social justice. We're not lobbying, planning protests or mobilising groups. We do not take a stance on political issues. We deliver thought-provoking content and experiences that inspire personal reflection and spark change within. As part of the work we're doing, as Jennifer mentioned, in partnership with the University of Melbourne, we've created a learning framework, bringing together Holocaust knowledge with character strengths to ensure we deliver the lessons of the Holocaust meaningfully and safely. We're moving into an environment where well-being and knowledge are no longer seen as separate, but are increasingly intertwined and integrated in education settings. So this is one of the big questions we're pondering. How can we create relevancy while not diluting the essential purpose of our organisation, which is to present the facts of the Holocaust? How are we delivering our lessons meaningfully? We're considering our audiences and their needs. We're leading with survivor voices and artefacts. We're focusing on Holocaust knowledge and character strengths. And we showcase the impact of our choices or anyone's choices as individuals. So, very exciting, our core museum. So towards the middle of the year, we'll open the permanent museum, thanks to the amazing team that you just met. It will feature material from our community, our amazing and incredible collection of artefacts and testimony, which is at the heart of everything we do. There will be a greater emphasis on life before, on the role of bystanders, all while presenting the whole overall history of the Holocaust. No mean feat. And then our children's or hiding museums, the title is yet to be resolved, for 11 to 14-year-olds, which will tell a story of 7 of our child survivors in an age-appropriate manner. And also in a very exciting way. And as we get closer to the openings, we will provide you with opportunities to learn so much more about both of these exhibitions. I'm very excited watching these spaces develop. Finally, how can we create a supportive environment for our visitors? We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to consider the needs of our audience. Visiting a Holocaust museum is not an easy thing to do. How can we ensure that it is memorable for the right reasons? What can we do before, after, and during a visit? So we've been working with a team of experts on visitor experiences to co-design moments that matter for the visitors, moments that can make a big difference, moments that are memorable. This is a piece of work that considers such things as visitor emotions when they're in the space, as well as the physical environment, and weaves them together with intent. As an example, ensuring there are appropriate places just to sit and reflect in between, being exposed to some of the content. So we're working together we've defined our moments that matter, which includes signature moments that we will be remembered for, such as meeting a survivor and becoming a witness, ensuring there are places for my reflection, feeling supported by the best, and having shareable moments. Also brilliant basics, which are elements like set up for success with pre-visit information, everything you need to know before you come here. a warm welcome for all our guests, as well as the vital clearing the first hurdle, getting from the street through security and to that warm welcome. We all know that that can be a challenge, especially in the environment we have, where we just need to have security. Rolling out these concepts is what we're currently working on and will be working on over the next few months. So I'll leave you with a message from one of our survivors, Peter Gasper, which is an example of the messages our students hear, this one promoting their ability to make a difference to the lives of others. What kind of difference you'll make will depend on the choices you make about standing up for what is right, for you, but also for others. The choices you make will define you. So hopefully this little presentation will give you an insight into our new approach ahead of fully reopening towards the middle of next year. I look forward to showing you more. I'm now going to introduce Anna Behang, who's our People and Culture Specialist, to provide an update on volunteering at the Holocaust Museum in 2023. She joined us a year ago and as part of her role immersed herself in child safety standards to ensure that the Melbourne Holocaust Museum is not just meeting but exceeding the standards to ensure that all children who attend the site can have a safe experience. She's responsible, as Gary said, for what used to be called HR, it's now People and Culture, a vital part of any organisation, and this is the area of our team that also manages volunteers. So welcome, Anna.
Hello, everyone. I can say I'm so excited. I was speaking to a few people. I'm just so excited to welcome you all in here with the entire MHM team. You know, you are the soul, and it's just you know, warms our heart, and it's a beautiful way to see out the year to have you all back in here. So thank you very much for coming. We're excited for the next year with volunteers. For our volunteers and the volunteer programs, there have been many delays, and I know that there's been many volunteers that are eager for additional information and wanting to know how they can help. Now that we're back at Selwyn Street, we're in a bigger space and there's a lot more involvement for our volunteers, so keep on contacting me. We have welcomed back the volunteers, as Jane said, into the education program, and that's been absolutely wonderful. We're preparing to welcome back the volunteers to the collection and research team over the next couple of months. A few of them just came in earlier to meet with me today, which was very, very exciting. We are accepting expressions of interest from volunteers, so as our ambassadors, please spread the word. Basically, we will get in contact with them, and similar to what we did with you, sending out some documents to get a little bit more information about them, and then we'll be in contact with them over the coming months. And we're really thrilled to be starting our adult education course in February in 2023. So we will be in touch, and we appreciate everything that all of you as our volunteer ambassadors have been doing and sharing the news about the amazing things at MHM. And you'll hear from us, and we look forward to welcoming more of you back in 2023.
Okay, at this point, I would like to say that the work that everyone is doing here is supported by an incredible board of management. And I'm truly grateful for the support they've given me over the past year, over the past however many years, but obviously we're here looking at this past year, so I want to thank them. We meet regularly and they provide guidance and really important advice to keep this organisation going in the right direction. So I am going to invite our co-presidents to come up and just wrap this event up. Thank you.
Wow, how wonderful to be back here greeting you today for this special event. We can proudly declare we have a world-class museum. But, you know, we're much more than a building. We are many parts to this incredible organisation, created by our Melbourne Holocaust survivors in 1984. And it's now our most important task, and that's to sustain this museum, to sustain it well into the future. And we're so aware of the significance of MHM's work in today's world. I want to first mention the Board of Directors, a board that commenced as a group of survivors, all male, in 1984, with the minutes written in Yiddish, and how to today's Board of Directors, with a representation over 3 generations. And currently we're working on ongoing development of the board, because we must ensure we have all the skills needed to meet the future demands of this vital organisation. Dear Board Directors, thank you all for your incredible efforts over and above what is required, especially during this redevelopment stage. And we have a few here today. And I have to say special thanks to our Vice President, Mike Dubinsky, who couldn't be here today, apologies, and to Simon Schwartz. My second point I want to look at is strategic fundraising. It goes without saying that we wouldn't be here, gathered here, in this state-of-the-art building, if not for the incredible efforts of the people in the Capital Campaign, the MHM fundraising team, and the MHM Foundation, all working together. The MHM is working tirelessly, the fundraising team, on grants and bequests and government funding and campaigns to attract more donors. We are so fortunate to have had the vision and extraordinary efforts of Helen Mamoff and the MHM Foundation trustees, and Helen and Phil Lewis as Capital Campaign chairs in achieving this. Thank you. But, you know, it doesn't end here. To maintain our MHM in its present state and for the future, we need to keep up the pace. So we need your continued support. It's just essential. The MHM offers just so much. The amazing, expanding team at MHM, a little different from Beryl in the office, and that was it, and all volunteers. And it's so ably led by our brilliant director, Jane Josem. As you have seen from what the people who've got up and the slides before, they're producing excellent work, from impactful education programs to the new museums currently being developed, as well as the outstanding connection of testimonies, artefacts and artworks that are at the heart of this institution. Thank you all, and I'll hand over to my co-president, Sue.
Hi everybody, it's so overwhelming and exciting also to see you here in our lovely new building. So as a result of our previous treasurer, Josh Frydenberg's extraordinary initiative, there will be a Holocaust Museum and or Holocaust Education Centre in every single Australian state and territory. And MHM has been the leader in establishing AHMA, which is the Australian Holocaust Museums Alliance, which acts as a resource and support for smaller institutions and works cooperatively on Holocaust memorial events. We're also an integral part of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, which is known as IHRA. I'm on the leadership team of the Education Working Group, and Pauline is part of the Museum and Memorial Working Group. And it's so interesting and wonderful to see Australia's involvement in such a prestigious organisation on an international scale. We're also working with the JCCV on Yom HaShoah commemorations and the Victorian Education Department on curriculum development and teacher training programs for years 9 and 10. As Jane and Jen had already told you, the team has spent much time looking at audience research and how we can create experiences that are relevant and meaningful to all of our visitors. And I think this will be very, very important, especially as we open up our new museum. My last part is to thank everybody here today. First of all, our incredible volunteers, but our survivor volunteers. You show us all here that no matter what challenges and adversities you have faced in the past and even in the present, you have shown resilience and perseverance, and you are our ambassadors of light and hope, and you do make a difference. So first of all, thank you so much. Thank you. To our other volunteers, thank you for your dedication, and we can't wait till 2023 when we have a lot more new volunteers as well to the centre. To the amazing staff at this museum, it is just, the board really, really appreciates the work that everybody has doing, all your work and all your efforts. And I'm so pleased that everybody here could actually meet the team. So many times that we've seen them on Zoom, but it's nice. So a big round of applause for our sensational staff. Thank you. And Jane, once again, you have expertly steered the Melbourne Holocaust Museum towards a really new and exciting chapter in our development. Thank you for your efforts, and we can't wait to share the next part of our journey with the opening of the Holocaust Museum and the Memorial Room and the Hiding Children's Museum sometime in 2023. So I think enough have been said. So on behalf of my co-president Pauline and the entire board, we'd like to wish you happy and light-filled Hanukkah, and it's time to continue lunch. Thank you.